Hello there, our wonderful global family of language learners, and a very warm welcome back to another stimulating episode of Idiom Insights. I'm Emma, and it's always such a pleasure to be here with you, ready to delve into the colorful and often quirky world of English expressions. Thank you for choosing to join us today.
And a massive, cheerful hello from me too. It's Jack, your enthusiastic co-host, geared up to explore 4 more fascinating idioms that add flavor and depth to everyday English conversation. We're genuinely thrilled you're tuning in to Idiom Insights. You know, Emma, idioms are like the secret spice rack of a language. Using them correctly adds that special something that makes communication richer and more authentic, don't you think?
That's a perfect analogy, Jack. The secret spice rack. And today's spices offer a range of flavors, covering mistaken ideas, preparing for trouble, being in a difficult spot, and making extraordinary efforts. Mastering these particular idioms is so valuable because they express quite complex situations or feelings very efficiently. Understanding them helps you not only follow conversations more accurately, but also grasp the speaker's perspective and attitude much more clearly. It's that deeper level of understanding we're always striving for.
Exactly. It's about moving beyond the literal into the figurative, understanding the cultural context baked into these phrases. So, let's get our linguistic taste buds ready. On today's flavorful episode of Idiom Insights, we are going to savor the meanings of these common expressions. First, pursuing a mistaken idea, barking up the wrong tree. We'll find out why dogs and trees are involved. Next, preparing for difficulty. Batten down the hatches, a phrase that brings stormy seas to mind. Then, being in a disadvantaged position behind the 8 ball. Why is the number 8 ball so unlucky in this context? And finally, making a huge effort for someone. Bend over backward. Sounds physically demanding and maybe emotionally too.
A truly captivating selection, Jack, covering error, preparation, difficulty, and extreme effort. Before we investigate why someone might be barking at entirely the wrong tree, we'd just love to offer that quick, friendly reminder from your Idiom Insights hosts. If you find these idiom explorations helpful for your English journey and want to keep up with every new discovery we make, please do consider hitting that subscribe or follow button on your podcast app. It takes just a click.
Yes, please do. It's the simplest way to ensure you catch every episode hot off the press. And if you're feeling particularly generous with your clicks today, a like or a positive rating is incredibly encouraging for us. It tells us we're on the right track and helps other fantastic learners like yourselves discover Idiom Insights. Okay, enough friendly encouragement. Emma, let's talk about misdirected barking. What does it mean when someone is barking up the wrong tree?
Well, Jack, imagine a hunting dog that excitedly starts barking at the base of a tree, convinced its prey, perhaps a squirrel or raccoon, has run up that specific tree, when in reality, the animal has escaped via a different route or climbed a different tree altogether. The dog's effort and attention are completely misdirected. So, idiomatically, if someone is barking up the wrong tree, it means they are pursuing a mistaken course of action, following a wrong line of thought, blaming the wrong person, or looking for a solution in the wrong place. Their assumptions or premises are incorrect, leading their efforts astray.
So it's fundamentally about being mistaken in your approach or assumption. The effort might be genuine, like the dog's barking, but it's completely wasted because it's based on a false idea. You might be barking up the wrong tree if you're complaining to the IT department about a faulty telephone line when it's actually the external phone company's responsibility. Your complaint is valid, but you're directing it to the wrong place. Or accusing your flatmate of eating the last biscuit when it was actually you who finished them yesterday. You're directing your blame incorrectly. It emphasizes the misdirection of effort based on a faulty understanding.
Precisely, Jack. The misdirection is key. It's not just about being generally wrong. It's about actively pursuing a specific path or blaming a specific target based on incorrect information or assumptions. You might think someone holds a certain opinion and argue against it, only to find out they never held that opinion in the first place. You were barking up the wrong tree by arguing against a non-existent stance. It really highlights the futility of effort when the fundamental assumption is flawed. It's about wasting energy in the wrong direction.
That futility aspect is really important. It's not just wrong, it's pointlessly wrong in terms of achieving the desired outcome, because the target is incorrect. Let's hear how this plays out for Mia and Mark. Who is pursuing a mistaken line of inquiry here?
Mark, I am getting so frustrated. My favorite necklace, the silver one with the little star charm that my grandmother gave me, is missing. I've looked everywhere I can think of.
Oh no, not your grandmother's necklace. That's terrible. When did you last see it? Have you checked your jewelry box properly? Maybe it just got tangled up with something else?
I've checked the jewelry box 3 times. I last remember wearing it on Tuesday evening when we went out for dinner. And you know what? I bet I know what happened. Remember your sister Lucy visited on Wednesday morning while I was out? She's always admired that necklace. I bet she borrowed it without asking. She's done things like that before with smaller items.
Lucy borrowed it? Mia, are you sure? Lucy hasn't borrowed anything without asking since she was about 15, and she knows how much that necklace means to you. Why would she suddenly take it now? That seems really unlikely. Are you absolutely certain you wore it on Tuesday?
Yes, I'm almost positive. And it's gone now, and she was here yesterday. It makes perfect sense. I'm going to call her right now and ask her to bring it back.
Whoa, hang on a minute, Mia. Before you call Lucy and accuse her, potentially causing a huge family argument based on a hunch, didn't you wear that blue scarf on Tuesday night? The one you sometimes hook your necklace clasp onto by mistake. Have you checked the pocket of the coat you wore over it? Or the scarf itself?
The blue scarf? Oh, wait. Yes, I did wear that scarf. Let me just check the coat pocket. Sound of rustling. Oh my goodness. Mark, here it is, the necklace. The clasp must have caught on the scarf and it came off when I took the scarf off and put it in my pocket. Oh, I feel dreadful. I was completely ready to accuse poor Lucy.
See? It's a good thing you checked first. It sounds like you were definitely barking up the wrong tree blaming Lucy. Always best to explore all the simple explanations before jumping to conclusions, especially accusatory ones.
Oh, a very common scenario where panic leads to a wrong assumption. Mia was convinced Lucy was the culprit based on circumstantial evidence and past teenage behavior.
Exactly. Her focus on blaming Lucy was entirely misdirected. Mark gently guides her to check a more plausible explanation. And when the necklace is found, he confirms that her previous line of thought, blaming Lucy, was indeed barking up the wrong tree. It perfectly illustrates pursuing a mistaken assumption or accusation. Listeners, have you ever found yourself barking up the wrong tree?
Now, from mistaken ideas, let's move to preparing for anticipated trouble. Our second idiom has a distinctly nautical feel. Batten down the hatches. Jack, this sounds like serious preparation for a storm.
It absolutely does, Emma, and that's precisely where it comes from. On old sailing ships, battens were strips of wood used to fasten canvas covers over the ship's hatches, the openings in the deck, to prevent water from getting below deck during a storm. So, to batten down the hatches literally meant to prepare the ship to withstand heavy weather. Idiomatically, it means to prepare for a difficult or dangerous situation, a crisis, trouble, or a period of intense pressure, often by taking protective or preparatory measures. It signals that trouble is expected, and preparations are necessary.
Preparing for expected trouble, that's the key. It implies anticipation of difficulty and the need to get ready to face it. It's not used for sudden, unexpected events, like things happening out of the blue, but rather for situations where you can see trouble brewing or know a difficult period is coming. You might hear a business owner say, with the predicted economic downturn, we need to cut costs and batten down the hatches for a tough year ahead. They are preparing the business to weather the financial storm.
That's a great example of its metaphorical use. It conveys a sense of hunkering down, securing everything, and getting ready to endure something challenging. It could be used for more personal situations, too. If a family knows they are going to have a very demanding few weeks, perhaps moving house while also dealing with exams or illness, they might say, "Okay, let's get everything organized, cook some meals ahead, and batten down the hatches until this period is over." It means preparing mentally and practically for the anticipated stress and workload. It's about bracing for impact.
Bracing for impact is a perfect way to describe the feeling it evokes. It acknowledges the coming difficulty, but focuses on the proactive preparation needed to cope. Let's listen to Mia and Mark. What challenge are they preparing for?
Mark, have you seen the weather forecast for this weekend? I was hoping we could do some gardening on Saturday, but it looks like those plans might need to change drastically.
Oh no, don't tell me. Is it just rain or something worse? I was really looking forward to planting those new shrubs we bought.
Worse than just rain, I'm afraid. They've issued a severe weather warning for our area, predicting exceptionally strong winds, gusts up to 70 miles per hour, starting Friday night and lasting all through Saturday. They're advising people to stay indoors if possible and secure any loose items outside.
70-mile-per-hour winds? Wow, that's serious. That's strong enough to cause damage. Loose roof tiles, falling branches, garden furniture flying around. Okay, forget gardening. It sounds like we need to prepare the house.
My thoughts exactly. We should probably bring all the garden chairs and the barbecue into the garage this evening. And that reminds me, one of the fence panels at the back felt a bit loose last week. We should probably try and secure that properly before the winds hit, and maybe check the gutters are clear.
Good thinking. Yes, definitely bring everything loose inside. Secure the fence panel, check the gutters, maybe make sure we have candles and torches ready too, just in case the power goes out with winds that strong. It sounds like we need to properly batten down the hatches before Friday night.
Agreed. Let's make a list and get everything done tonight after work. Better safe than sorry when that kind of storm is forecast. Time to batten down the hatches.
That dialogue clearly shows the idiom used in response to an anticipated difficulty, the severe storm. Their discussion immediately turns to necessary preparations.
Yes, Mark uses batten down the hatches to summarize the need for these protective actions, bringing things inside, securing the fence, preparing for power cuts before the storm arrives. Mia agrees, reinforcing the idea of preparing for the expected trouble. It perfectly captures the meaning of preparing for a difficult situation. Listeners of Idiom Insights, when was the last time you felt you needed to batten down the hatches, literally or metaphorically?
Now let's move from preparation to already being in a tricky spot. Our third idiom comes from the world of pool or billiards, behind the 8 ball. Emma, this sounds like a disadvantageous position. Can you explain?
You're spot on, Jack. In many versions of pool, sinking the black 8 ball before all your other object balls means you automatically lose the game. Also, if the cue ball ends up directly behind the 8 ball, it blocks your shot at your intended target, putting you in a very difficult position. So idiomatically, being behind the 8 ball means being in a difficult, disadvantageous, problematic, or potentially losing situation. You're facing obstacles, perhaps due to bad luck or previous mistakes, making it hard to proceed successfully. It implies being in a tight spot with limited good options.
A difficult spot with limited options? That sounds similar to having your back against the wall, but maybe less desperate. Back against the wall feels like the absolute last resort, whereas behind the 8 ball might just mean you're significantly hampered, in trouble, needing some skillful maneuvering or luck to get out of it, but perhaps not facing complete catastrophe just yet. Is that a fair distinction, do you think?
I think that's a very insightful distinction, Jack. Behind the 8 ball often implies being in trouble or at a disadvantage due to specific circumstances or previous events, making the next step difficult. Whereas back against the wall suggests you've run out of almost all steps. You might find yourself behind the 8 ball early in a project if a key team member quits unexpectedly, putting you at a disadvantage for meeting deadlines. Or you might be behind the 8 ball financially if you have an unexpected large expense right after paying all your monthly bills, leaving you struggling until your next payday. It implies difficulty and disadvantage, requiring careful navigation.
That clarification is really helpful. So it's about being hampered and facing difficulty due to circumstances. Let's hear from Mia and Mark, who finds themselves in a disadvantageous position.
Mark, you look a bit stressed after that phone call. Was that your boss? Is everything okay with the quarterly report you submitted this morning?
It was my boss, yes. And everything is definitely not okay with the report. Remember how I was double-checking the sales figures late last night? Well, apparently in my tiredness, I accidentally used the figures from the previous quarter in one of the key summary tables.
Oh no, not the wrong figures in the summary table. Is that easily fixed? Can you just send a revised version?
I can send a revised version, yes. But the problem is my boss had already forwarded the initial report with the wrong figures to the senior management team just before he noticed my mistake. He had to immediately send a follow-up email explaining the error and attaching the correction.
Oh dear. So, senior management already saw the version with a significant mistake in it? That's not ideal, is it?
Not ideal is an understatement. It makes me look incredibly careless and unprofessional right before my annual performance review next week. My boss was understanding, but he wasn't happy. He said it puts him in an awkward position too, honestly. Making such a stupid mistake on such an important report right now, I really feel like I'm behind the 8 ball heading into this review.
Yes, I can see why you feel that way. It definitely puts you at a disadvantage and creates an obstacle you now have to overcome in their perception. You're definitely starting from slightly behind the 8 ball now. You'll just have to work extra hard to demonstrate your competence in other areas during the review.
Ouch. That's a mistake anyone could make when tired, but the timing makes it particularly problematic for Mark. He hasn't lost his job. He's not necessarily back against the wall, but the error has created a disadvantage.
Precisely. He uses behind the 8 ball to describe his difficult position, leading into his performance review, caused by his mistake. Mia agrees, acknowledging that the error puts him at a disadvantage. It clearly illustrates being in a problematic or unfavorable situation due to a specific preceding event. Listeners, have you ever felt you were behind the 8 ball? How did you navigate the situation?
And finally, let's look at our 4th idiom, which describes extreme effort, often for others. Bend over backward. Jack, the image is one of extreme physical contortion. What does it mean in terms of action or attitude?
It's a very evocative image of doing something physically impossible, isn't it? Idiomatically, to bend over backward means to try exceptionally hard to help, please, or accommodate someone, often going to great lengths, making significant efforts, or enduring considerable inconvenience to do so. It implies making an effort far beyond what is normally expected or required. It emphasizes the extraordinary degree of effort exerted.
Extraordinary effort is the key phrase here. It's not just being helpful, it's going above and beyond the call of duty. You might praise excellent customer service by saying, "The hotel staff were amazing. They bent over backward to make our stay comfortable, accommodating all our unusual requests." It highlights their exceptional helpfulness. But like you hinted about throwing caution to the wind, this idiom can also sometimes have a slightly negative connotation, can it?
Yes, it certainly can. While it often describes commendable effort, it can also imply that someone is perhaps trying too hard to please, maybe to the point of being subservient, neglecting their own needs, or dealing with someone unreasonable who expects such extreme efforts. You might hear someone complain, "I bend over backward for my boss, working late every night, and he still never seems satisfied." In this context, it highlights the speaker's feeling of making excessive, unappreciated efforts. So, context really matters in determining if it's praise for helpfulness or lament about excessive effort.
That duality is important. It's about the magnitude of the effort, which can be viewed positively or negatively depending on the situation and perspective. Let's listen to Mia and Mark for the last time. How is this idiom being used in their conversation?
Mark, I just wanted to say thank you again for sorting out my laptop problem yesterday evening. I know you had a long day at work, and then you spent nearly 2 hours figuring out why it kept crashing and reinstalling that software for me.
Oh, it was no problem at all, Mia. Honestly, I'm just glad we got it working again properly. You need it for your presentation tomorrow, right?
Yes, I do. And I was starting to seriously panic when it wouldn't load properly. You really saved me. It just felt like you went to so much trouble, especially when you were already tired. You stayed up quite late working on it.
Well, of course. You were stressed. You needed help. And I know a bit about computers. It's natural to help out when someone's in a fix. What else was I gonna do?
I know, but still, it feels like you always bend over backward to help me out whenever I have a technical problem, or need a lift somewhere, or need help with some DIY task. I really appreciate you making such an effort, going above and beyond like that.
Like I said, happy to help. That's what partners do, isn't it? Help each other out. Don't worry about it at all. But I appreciate you saying thank you. Now, about that presentation, have you finished the slides?
That's a lovely positive use of the idiom within their relationship. Mia uses bend over backward to express her gratitude for Mark's significant effort in helping her with her laptop, acknowledging that he went above and beyond, especially when tired.
Exactly. She uses it here as high praise, emphasizing the extent and generosity of his effort. Mark modestly downplays it, but Mia's use highlights her perception of his extraordinary helpfulness. Listeners of Idiom Insights, who is someone you feel bends over backward for others? Or do you sometimes feel you have to bend over backward?
And with that image of extraordinary effort, we wrap up our idiom explorations for this episode. 4 more fascinating phrases decoded. Let's quickly review the idioms we've discussed today.
It's been another insightful session. Today on Idiom Insights, we explored barking up the wrong tree, pursuing a mistaken course of action, or blaming the wrong person. Batten down the hatches, to prepare for a difficult or dangerous situation. Brace for trouble. Behind the 8 ball, in a difficult, disadvantageous, or problematic position. bend over backward, to try extremely hard to help or please someone.
Wonderful. We sincerely hope that our more detailed chats today, digging into nuances and providing context, have helped these idioms become clearer and more memorable for you. Remember, understanding the feeling and the situation is key to using them effectively.
Absolutely. Keep listening, keep noticing, and keep learning. And if you found today's episode helpful and informative, we would be truly grateful if you could take a brief moment to leave us a like, a rating, or a positive review on your podcast platform. It gives us valuable feedback and helps others find us.
And please make sure you're subscribed or following Idiom Insights. It's the simplest way to ensure you join us for our next exploration into the rich and exciting world of English expressions. We love having you as part of our learning community.
We really do. Thank you for being here with us today. Until next time, keep practicing, stay curious, and enjoy your language learning journey. Goodbye for now.
Bye, everyone. Take care, keep learning, and happy idiom hunting.